I think we completed 20 million Vajraguru mantras in total. Trying to figure out how many zeros. 25 million Vajraguru mantras were completed. So that's huge merit. Okay, so now closing words from Rinpoche. So as for the teaching, we concluded the teaching and spoken in detail about the teaching, so no need to add anything, no need to say anything more about that. But just to speak about the society, the Namgyal Tendri Shabdik Society, which is the organizing committee who set up this program. So just to speak about the history of this society. So this is a society set up by monks and prior monks of Namgyal Monastery up in Humla. This monastery was founded in the 80s. And so a lot of some of the monks who've entered and studied at Namgyal Monastery up in Humla ended up leaving. It's not that leaving a monastery and disrobing is a wonderful thing, but if one ends up disrobing and continues practicing, continues working for the Dhamma, and practicing in one's life, if one keeps living a life of Dharma, then this is a really wonderful thing actually, instead of disrobing and just becoming a completely worldly person. And this is how most of the monks who disrobe and leave Namgyal Monastery, the few monks who do leave and have left over the decades, how they then end up leading their lives as lay people. While at the monastery they did significant study, gained real knowledge of the Dharma, they completed the fivefold preliminary practices, learned a lot about practice and the scriptures, and then even after they disrobe, they continue to practice as lay practitioners. So there are a few who've given up practice, but the majority continue as really sincere lay practitioners. And so this is something really a wonderful situation. And a lot have gone back to their homelands in various areas and help their villages, their societies with the knowledge they have of Dhamma, right? Their knowledge of practice, their ability to practice, and so on. So so this is something really wonderful, the way that even the ex-monks of our monastery continue to serve the Dhamma, serve their communities, to practice themselves. So up at the monastery, whether it be the monks or the nuns up in a monastery in Humla, Namgyal Monastery in Nunnery, their level of study, their education, and so on has improved in leaps and bounds over the decades. And even those who have disrobed for whatever reason and returned to the lay life, they continue, like I said, they continue practicing, they continue contributing to the Dhamma and contributing to the monastery and the tradition and so on in whatever way they can. And it was to this end, with a wish to come together to do something to serve the teaching, serve beings, support the tradition, the Namkyong tradition and the Tesa tradition, and the teachings in general. That's the whole reason that these ex-monks and students of the monastery formed a society several years back. And it's also the reason why they requested me to give some public teachings here this year. It was actually my suggestion in response to their request, it was my suggestion that I teach this Ngondro commentary by Kyabje Jujun Rinpoche. Because I thought it would be very relevant and helpful for everyone in the Namkyong tradition and the wider Dujum Tesa tradition. So all the members of the society have done such a wonderful job in organizing this event, in finding this land, setting up this tent, bringing everything together. At the beginning, when they rented such an enormous piece of land and set up this tent with such an enormous capacity, I felt a bit uncomfortable. I thought, should we really be preparing for so many people? But anyway, before I could say anything, they had already rented the land, set up the tent, and made the arrangements. And things have gone so smoothly. So the whole program has gone so smoothly and successfully. And the way that the society have organized the event, and also the way they have kept the accounts, has been very clean and transparent, very meticulous, and this is following the way we do things up at our Vajraguru accumulation up in Humla and so on. We're very meticulous with the accounting, keeping track of donations and outgoing expenses, and then announcing the sum balance at the end of the event. So they've been very meticulous and conscientious in that regard. And as Chimpo, the treasury of the society, mentioned just now, so it was this Namkyong society who organized the event, but they were supported enormously by many societies, the society of Limbi and Dopo and various societies in Humla, Kamarong, Mogum and so on, all the societies that were mentioned just now. We were joined here by Khenpos and Tulpos, Lupins, monastics, monks and nuns, and also Ngakpas, lay practitioners, and other students who came from far and wide, from different places in India and from foreign countries, even further abroad. So this is the largest gathering that I've ever taught to. I've taught to gatherings, say 1,000 or 2,000 before, but not gatherings as large as this. We've had around 4,000, even more than 4,000 people here. So I think the larger the gathering, the better when it comes to Dharma teachings. Because more benefit, right? More people, more benefit. More people hearing the teachings, more people gathering together to practice, accumulating the money and Vajraguru mantra, greater accumulation of merit, more people taking to heart the Dharma. So more in the transformation, more changes, more positive transformation to lives. So the more people, even, I think if we had a gathering of 10,000 people, that would be even better, even more cause to rejoice. So if it's as a result of these sorts of events and Dharma teachings, sharing the teachings in this way, then some people, at least a percentage of the gathering of the students, end up taking some points of Dharma to heart, perhaps they become more vigilant about karmic cause and effect, about shunning negative karma, cultivating positive karma. They take some fundamental points of Dharma to heart, and their hearts are actually touched and changed. Well, then that makes all of this effort meaningful. In the past, we had whole valleys, Dil and Humla, and a lot of the border regions around Humla. Rishi mentioned several names, where literally the whole valleys and hills and mountainsides were covered with practitioners, filled with retreat houses. Even up at like 4,000 feet, even that high, you would have people living in retreat huts. All the valleys and mountainsides were filled with practitioners. But now, what's the situation up in these same places? Well, in recent decades, these mountainsides and villages have become, a lot of them have emptied out. People have migrated down to Kathmandu Valley or other areas. Well, I guess that's a sign of the times. A sign of the times, and it's happened due to various reasons. So, that aside, so this migration of people aside, one really important beneficial thing I just want to emphasize is the importance of family harmony and people honoring their connections, their relationships, harmony in families and societies and so on. These days there's so much disharmony in society, in families, amongst friends, spouses and so on and so forth. So if even just people listening to these teachings I've given, teachings I've shared here, if it can foster some harmony, bring about some harmony and more happiness and peace in families and societies, then that's a real benefit, something I think we can rejoice in. So over the past few weeks, I've met many of you, or those who I have met in person. I have asked, how you finding the teachings, and many people have been unable to even speak. They've just welled up in tears and said they've been so moved and touched by the teachings. So Tibetans, Himalayans and Westerners and international students, a lot of people have wept. Actually, wept with joy, or they've just been, it seems a lot of people have been very moved and touched by the teachings. So this is a really good thing. That the teachings we receive actually touch our hearts, touch and transform our minds, and that shows that the teachings have been fruitful, have been beneficial, that they're touching us in the way that they should touch us, right? So again, this event was organized by the Namgyal Tengdru Shabdik Society, set up by ex-monks. They formed a society with a pure motivation. They organized this event with a pure motivation. I'm generally a very honest speaker. If something is good, I say it's good. If something is bad, I say it's bad. I'm very upfront. I don't say one thing in front of people and another thing behind their backs. I'm just very upfront. So even if something is going to be a bit hurtful or uncomfortable, I just say it. So this is my character. I'm very honest and forthright like this. So I mean what I say here when I say that this event has gone so well. The Society of Monks who organized it have done such an excellent job and with a really positive motivation. So So this is really wonderful. And so this is something really wonderful, something we can really rejoice in, and I really appreciate their effort. And the effort of so many who have come here to receive these teachings, because they value the teachings so much, right? So like some of the elderly nuns from, very senior nuns from Sopema and Yichuying and others, they made the long journey from India to come here, even though they're quite elderly, they have knee pain and difficulty traveling and so on. But out of faith in the teachings, they've come here. So, and likewise some relatives have come from afar, not to mention so many other students. So I'm so glad that so many have gathered here to receive these teachings in short, because it shows your interest in the Dharma, right? Our interest in the Dharma. And remember, the whole point of receiving Dharma teachings is to transform our minds, right? To change for the better. So otherwise, if we just gather at some Dharma teaching, receive teachings, but don't actually change, then nothing really meaningful is happening there, right? But if we can gather at an event like this, and as a result actually change a bit, we can change and transform in positive ways, then it has all been worthwhile. That positive transformation is the point that makes it all worthwhile. So from my side, I don't have any excellent qualities. I'm not particularly learned or disciplined, or I do not have the scholar's excellent qualities of a scholar and accomplished practitioner. But nevertheless, I've shared the teachings as best I can. And some of the points I've mentioned, these points of Dharma, even say the reflection on impermanence and death, karmic cause and effect. One of these fundamental points of Dharma, if you can just take one of these points to heart, keep them in your heart, contemplate them, and let them move you, let them change you for the better, let those thoughts change you for the better, then it's all been worthwhile. The Dharma has touched you, benefited you. And everything, yeah. And again, the program has gone so smoothly and well. It's been an entire month, and there hasn't been anyone who got seriously sick. So I myself have been very healthy through the whole program. Often in such large groups like this, I'd be likely to get a cold. And there was some virus going around, it seems, a sore throat or something. I did get that and feel a bit unwell for 2 days, but it was nothing serious. And after 2 days, I felt completely better again. So that was very fortunate, very fortuitous. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. So Chenpo said most things when thanking everyone earlier. So one thing is I want to say thank you to Tsaja Foundation, who helped sponsor the printing of our texts. The printing costs were 800,000 or 900,000 Nepali rupees, and Tsaja Foundation sponsored all of that. We printed 2,000 copies, and we were planning to take 500 or so. We thought we'd have 500 or so left over to take back to the monastery for our monks and nuns, but there so many people have gathered here, so many practitioners gathered, that all the texts have been distributed, so there are none left to take up to the monastery. Anyway, that's something to rejoice in, right? Something to rejoice in. The point of having this text printed was that they would be read, they would be studied. So we didn't have enough text for everyone, but but still. So we didn't have any left over as we thought we would, but actually that's a good thing because it shows that there are people who've taken the texts and are interested and are going to read and study them. So we've pretty much come to the end of the closing ceremony now. We thanked everyone, all of the volunteers earlier, one by one, and by calling everyone up and offering them a kata. It's just a kata, but it's an expression of heartfelt thanks and appreciation. I also want to thank the translators, Nepalese and English. So again, to all of the organizers, the members of the Namkyong Society, so I want to say thank you to them. Thank you to them for all of their efforts. So I'm not calling them up each one by one and offering them a kata. There's just so many, there's too many people to call them up one by one and each offer them a kata. So it seems there are 200 or more members of the Namkyong Society, the Namkyong Tendru Shabdik Society, who organize this event. It's a smaller number of elders who are kind of leading the society, heading the society, and the younger ones who are kind of following their lead and supporting them. So if they continue to do what they're doing with a pure motivation, not with attachment to the Namkyong tradition and small-minded attachment, but with really pure intention for the teachings and for beings, then there is and will be genuine benefit in that. So. So I'm going to offer katas to a few more people now, and if you want to offer some applause, you're welcome to, but don't feel you have to keep applauding like Chembao kept saying, and make blisters on your palms. So if you really feel inspired, you can offer applause now, like according to your own feeling. So now I'm asking some of the monks from the Namkyong Society.